If you're watching this video, my guess is that you've purchased Melodyne to pitch correct vocals at the very least. My name is Eli Kranzberg, and in these videos, we're going to cover tuning vocals and much more. We'll look at how to use Melodyne Editor as a plugin inside of a host DAW, as well as the standalone version. Plus, we'll look at using Melodyne Studio and the Melodyne Bridge to work with multiple tracks simultaneously. Along the way, we'll look not only at pitch-correcting vocals, but also time-correcting drums, working with polyphonic guitar parts and Melodyne's direct note access technology, altering the rhythms and timing of specific notes, and even creating some backup vocal parts from the lead vocal, all from within the various versions of Melodyne. Let's start by looking at the Melodyne Editor as a plugin, in this case inside of Logic Pro. Melodyne works a little differently than other plugins. Other plugins automatically work on the underlying audio playing through the track they are instantiated on. With Melodyne, though, the audio it's going to process has to first be transferred into Melodyne. Once transferred, the rest of the work can be done inside of the Melodyne plugin. It, in effect, becomes a little mini sequencer within a sequencer, with its own DAW-like functions like tools and menus. It's best to call up the Melodyne plugin at the topmost insert slot on a track, so that it's acting on the pure unprocessed signal. This will allow for as clean a detection as possible. In transferring the audio to the plugin, Melodyne is using one of several available algorithms to detect both the pitch and the timing of the notes contained within the underlying audio. So imagine putting, let's say, a chorus plugin on a vocal track, which effectively detunes it, or a delay plugin which alters the rhythm and timing of the performance, and then putting Melodyne afterwards. It would throw off the entire pitch and rhythm detection process. So it's important that it's in the topmost slot like it is here. So for now, let's open up the Melodyne plugin and look at the process of transferring audio into the plugin. I'm going to position it here so we can see our vocal track on top. Now you'll see this button here called Transfer glowing, and it's screaming out at me, press me, press me, press me. As soon as you press that transfer button, when you play the track in your host DAW, it'll get recorded into Melodyne. So let's press it. Now it turns orange and it's staying a solid orange. It's ready for transfer. And I can play this in, and even though we're going to hear the whole mix, because this plugin is listening only on this one track, it'll capture only the vocal track.
Reach for the stars, show them you can. No one can take it away from you. Walk straight.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there just so we don't capture the whole track at the moment. And it stopped and it drew the overview of the detection that it picked up from that vocal track. So transferring it is as simple as that. You basically press the transfer button, start your DAW, stop your DAW when you're done, and it'll stop. Or you can press the transfer button here to stop, and it's done. But there's another thing you can do. I'm going to click the undo button inside this Melodyne editor, which is this button over here to get rid of this. And I want to show you another thing that you can do that's very cool. What you can do is effectively a kind of punching in thing. Let's say you want to capture only a portion of the audio. What you can do is play the track in your DAW and stop and start the transfer process by pressing the transfer button selectively at different times to capture different parts of it. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you want to do this? Well, the way it works is like this. The audio gets transferred into Melodyne, and then when you play your track back from that point on, the audio gets processed by Melodyne. So let's say you're listening to your vocal track and you're figuring, you know, it's pretty good overall, there's only a few bad parts, and you don't want the entire track processed by Melodyne. What you can do is transfer only portions of it so that Melodyne will act only on a few selected portions of the track, and the rest of it will be treated by the DAW alone and unprocessed by Melodyne. So it's a way of capturing selected parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this track again, and I'm going to capture only selected parts of it.
Reach for the stars, show them you can. No one can take it away from you. Walk straight ahead, hold your head high. Look inside and find the song in you. Sing it.
Okay, so I stopped and started it a few different times. And now in Melodyne, we're going to scroll a bit and look, you'll see the areas that have been captured and the spaces in between that haven't been captured. So now when I play it back through my DAW, these parts will be acted upon by Melodyne, and the parts in here won't be, and they'll play through straight through the track. And we have additional visual feedback in the time ruler here, the bar ruler within Melodyne, as to what is and isn't going to be played by the DAW and by Melodyne, and that is displayed by the shading over here. Now, under the View menu, we have an item here, Show Replace Ranges enabled. When it's disabled, this is a solid color. But when I have that enabled, Show Replace Ranges, you'll see the shading indicating the areas that aren't captured and the areas that are captured. And you further have little handles where you can drag and increase or decrease the areas here that are going to be played back through Melodyne or not played back through Melodyne. Let's listen to some of this from within the plugin window now. Now there's different ways of starting and stopping playback. We're going to cover all the transport commands. I'm just going to start playback by double-clicking in the background here, just to hear what we've captured.
No one can take it away from you.
Okay, so this little bit here, let's say I don't want that included in what's going to be processed. It's sort of the pickup to the next note. Now each little bit of audio that's been captured here is referred to as a blob. That's an unfortunate choice of terms, but that's what Melodyne has decided to call these. So what we want to do is get rid of one of these blobs. Now what I'm going to do is call up a contextual menu by control-clicking right on it, holding my control key, click hold, and I get a pop-up menu, and I can choose Cut. Now it's not highlighted right now because that blob isn't selected. So let me just select it like that, and now control-click, and I'm going to go Cut, and now it's out. So now what I'm going to do is select those notes, and I want to update the range here so that it's not going to process that little area, because I want that pickup now to be processed by the DAW. I don't want it to be processed by Melodyne. So what I can do is update these ranges by control-clicking right in the bar ruler here, and it calls up a different type of contextual menu, and I go Set Replace Ranges to Notes. And you'll see that this just changed now, and the shaded area increased, and it's only going to process the area until here now, and the little pickup that falls there is going to go unprocessed by Melodyne. So let's review what we've learned so far. When Melodyne is being used as a plugin within a DAW, the audio has to be transferred into Melodyne first in order for Melodyne to act upon it. The simplest way to do that is to press the transfer button and then stop and start your DAW and have it capture the performance like that. Alternatively, if you want to capture only selected portions, you can stop and start the transfer process by means of this transfer button and effectively punch in and out to capture only selected bits so that Melodyne will process only selected bits of the file. Once you have these areas captured, under the View menu, you need to turn on Show Replace Ranges in order to show the areas in the bar ruler that are going to be processed by Melodyne and the parts that are going to be processed by the DAW, unaltered by Melodyne. And you can update these ranges either by clicking with the handles there and revealing or hiding more of it, or by selectively deleting blobs and then updating the range by control-clicking there and going Set Replace Ranges to Notes. And you set that to the notes that are selected, of course. So that's it for now. Stay tuned. In the next video, we're going to look at how to get audio into the standalone version of Melodyne Editor.